say, for instance, like they got a
Google
lot better
got
with that direction and stuff
Google.
too.
I hate to
know
be
that.
Ryan. I hate to be Ryan, but Google
Say it, Phoop. Say it.
Calling out all my nerds, freaks, and geeks. It's mob time.
Don't tune in cause it's showtime. Go ahead and call the gang up for the one time. Rap Phoop, Ryan, got him on the line. And my life's still great, I'm doing just fine. Hands up.
What's up, y'all, and welcome to the Blerd Mob, your hub for all things black and nerdy. I am your host, Phoop, joined by my two co-hosts, Ryan and Ralph. If you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other streaming service, make sure you hit that follow button so you can get updates from the mob.
And if you gamers and fans of all things entertainment are watching us on YouTube, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those bell notifications for future uploads.
All right. So it's just another day in the life of the Blerd Mob. So how's everybody been doing?
Pretty good. Just kind of getting back into things, really.
What you getting back into, Ralph?
I saw you been back on your Apex grind. I saw your tweet last night.
I've been getting back into that after taking all of last season off, and I think 2 weeks of this season I ended up missing. I finally was able to get back to gaming, so I'm trying to see when can I get back into possibly streaming. So I had to decide on that down the line. But
and then I saw that you ended up coaching somebody. How was that?
Oh no, I didn't coach anybody. Blerds coached me.
Gotcha. Okay, I read the tweet wrong. I thought it was okay.
Nah,
Shout out to Boogie.
I can't coach nobody.
So I was like, oh, Ralph coming back hard.
Like he a coach now. We made it big.
Oh, what? I was like, Ralph coming back strong.
I am a potato.
Not a potato.
Yes, I am a potato.
Well, you know, potatoes are the most versatile food. We eat them a lot.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I am. I have my moments. But how have y'all been? What's been up with y'all?
Man, I've been chilling. I reorganized my manga shelf. I've pretty much been delaying that for like the past month and a half. Felt pretty good. Dedicated a couple hours to that. One of my best friends came in town, so I got to hang out with her the other day. And yeah, life's been pretty straight.
Okay.
That's what's up.
Loving it.
I was just finna say, now he finally got around to readjusting his manga shelf that he's been putting off for the past couple months.
Cause man, like the I like to do ABC order. Like I do ABC order, then I do the omnibuses, and then I do the deluxe hardcovers, and all three of those gotta be in ABC order. And I was like, man, it's just looking out of pocket right now, you know.
I feel you. Maybe one day I'll get to readjusting my shelves because I have a piece of shelf that I still need to put on one of these. And now that I got the Demon Slayer manga, I think that's where I'm gonna.
Oh, your box set did come in, huh? Bad.
But just like you, I just need to find the time to, let's switch everything out.
Look, you should start collecting Sailor Moon. You got all the Funkos to go with it.
I should. I was looking for a collector's edition so I could just buy them all at one time. But
they ain't got it.
Yeah, I've saw that. So it's kind of like I gotta get in where I fit in and find the volumes as I go. I'll consider it. But everything else with me is pretty much been the same old. I did see The Flash last night, so I know we'll do a mob review, but my 2 cents on it was, in the words of Ryan, it was solid.
Did you watch the Demon Slayer? Did y'all watch the Demon Slayer movie yet?
That come out tomorrow, though.
Black Clover movie.
Like what?
Oh, I was finna say, like, he in the future. When you watch Demon Slayer.
Like, what announcement did you see?
We was finna stop the episode now, because what you mean the Demon Slayer episode out?
We plan to talk about this?
But what was I about to say? You remember I started Black Clover, but I couldn't get past Asta yelling all the time, so I didn't. So no, I did not watch the Black Clover movie.
I've never watched Black Clover, so this is all new to me.
I mean, once I get past him yelling, I might make it up to the movie.
You don't get past it. You don't get past it.
And
you just got to deal with it.
Maybe if I cut the TV down real low, maybe when he speaks, it'll just sound like regular people talking.
Man.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, that's my 2 cents on the Flash. Currently in my head, it's a 7 out of 10. But you'll see my true score when we do the mob review for it.
But I feel like it's gonna fall.
You said what?
I feel like it's gonna fall.
It might. Honestly, like once we sit down and have a discussion and like process it, it might. I'm at a hard 7 right now.
Okay.
So I'm also going to see The Blackening tonight. So I'll let you guys know how that goes.
I forgot that came out.
I've only seen one review on it, but the one review I have seen is very positive. Like it's real funny. The jokes hit. The premise was there. So I'm excited.
Scary movie kind of feel.
Yeah, it's answering that question of what would black people do in a scary movie is what I've been told.
Okay.
Isn't there a movie called The Awakening? Is it what it's based off of?
I don't know much about that.
Okay, so now the scary movie The Awakening does sound familiar. If that is what it's based off of, that'll be interesting too.
Something to keep in mind.
Yeah, so I'll definitely keep that in mind when I go see it tonight.
Okay.
But let's get into it. We don't have a lot of topics today.
It's been pretty
as you guys know, summer is showcase season, so we have to talk about these showcases that have went down in the past couple weeks. I want to start with Apple's WWDC 2023 showcase. We got a lot of new features coming for iOS 17. We got some new hardware coming. They premiered a new MacBook, new Mac computer, new chips for it. And then we'll get to this in a minute, but the biggest thing that came out of it was the Apple Vision Pro headset. But I do want to backtrack a little bit before we touch on that. Was there anything other than the headset that caught you guys' attention at the showcase?
As an Android user, no. That Vision Pro is all I'm here for.
I'm done. I don't think anything really stood out as a long thing, but if I would have to pick, it would probably be the live voicemail. I said that's been around before on landline phones, so
I thought it was, as far as Apple innovation, I thought the live voicemail thing was dope because it's because the phone app, out of everything that they've updated, the phone app always stays the same. So the big thing that I saw as far as the iOS 17 updates is that they're adding some big improvements to the phone app itself. And the live voicemail thing was one of it. And I thought it was pretty dope because you could actually see the voicemail on your lock screen without having to unlock your phone, go to the phone app, go to the voicemails tab, and then see the transcribed voicemail.
Yeah.
So having it right there on the lock screen when somebody leaves you a voicemail, I thought it was pretty cool. The other iOS 17 things that popped out to me, the contact poster, it stood out to me because I could already see this being funny as hell. So the contact poster thing is you setting your contact photo for when you call somebody, not them setting it for you. You set it. So when you call somebody, what you want pops up on their phone. And I could already see this being funny as hell.
that could get really bad. That could get really bad.
Exactly.
A lot of, I mean,
can you block
when you
it?
look at it,
block the contact photo or block
Like,
the
can
number?
you make it to where even if someone sets their own photo, you don't receive that?
so
I don't know.
I think what Ryan is trying to get at is like the explicit stuff that folks be trying to add, maybe in their pictures.
Like, I don't want to be in the middle of church and like somebody want to be a little funny that day, and now I got genitalia popping up on my phone during the sermon. Like that's why. Can I block that?
That's understandable.
I don't. So when I read it, I didn't see anything about users can opt out. Like if I don't want to see your contact photo, I don't have to. I'm pretty. I won't say pretty sure. I am going to be optimistic and hope that there is something in place that you can shut this off, that you can opt out of it. Just because of stuff like that. That's the exact example that you gave, Ron, is the reason why, to me, contact photos would be funny as hell. Because y'all play too much for stuff like that.
Also, I want to know, does it have to be a person who's your contact? So, like, if I call you, like, if I get me a new iPhone and I just call you from my random iPhone, set my contact, but you're not saved in it, you ain't got my iPhone number saved, will my photo still pop up, or is it just for people you got saved as contacts?
That I don't know either. I assume that I don't know how it's going to work for people who are not saved. It also could be possible that they show up the number and then the contact photo. So it's like if Ralph got a new number and I don't recognize Ralph's number, but his contact photo pops up and I was like, oh, this is Ralph. He probably has a new number.
But then that could be misleading too. What if I'm just prank calling you and I set it to Ralph's image? You know what I mean?
It's the same conversation that we had last year with the editing text message stuff. Like it's always a risk with these new updates.
I don't know, Apple.
Be going to the extreme.
But you got to think with the extreme. Millions of Apple users out there.
Yeah, you're right.
I wonder if it's connected to that Apple profile thing. So Ralph, when somebody texts you from a new number and then the little bar thing comes up with like their Apple name, like that default picture that they set in their Apple name, and you can click on it and save their number. I wonder if it's connected to that.
Potentially.
And it's like, this is not something that you could, it's something that's attached to like your Apple profile. So whatever you set up there, that's what controls the contact poster.
I could see that. I could see it. I don't. The thing is, Apple never really gives a whole bunch of detail behind what goes on. They just give us enough to kind of get excited for and kind of question, start to third things up. Pretty much what we're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting.
And you know what though? We got to shout out Apple. Apple really controls their marketing to the utmost extreme. Like,
yeah.
Like, one thing about Apple, I was watching a deep dive video, and it was referring to WWDC, and it was talking about how when Apple markets, there are certain terms they don't use. Like at WWDC, they don't use AI as a term. They don't use AR, VR. They don't use terminology like that because they don't even want you to connect their devices to that. They use spatial technology. They say spatial
computing,
and all these different terms.
Machine learning.
Knowing that the regular person don't know what that is, and anybody in tech knows what that is, but the regular person, which are the people buying iPhones, they're going to be like, "Oh my gosh, so pristine." But I'm like, some of this stuff is problematic. Some of this stuff got issues.
They definitely like the way that they visualize the contact photo. It seemed really fun. Like, ooh, I could set my photo. Like, I want my photo to be real cute so people can see me and they'd be like, oh, look at this cute picture of Phoop calling me. But then the conversation that we just had, like, this could go left. Like, real, like go left.
Like, y'all too optimistic about how people act. Have y'all not been on social media? Like, what?
I think there's always a risk with like technical updates, but I could only hope that this as lighthearted as they promoted it, it's as lighthearted as the masses would use it. You are gonna have a few bad apples that are gonna take advantage of it, but I hope the masses see it as lighthearted and fun as they promoted it.
I feel like there should be like two accessibility options. One, whether or not you want to receive it in general or not. And if you want to receive it in general, do you want to pick out the specific people you can receive it from? Like, oh, if
Yeah.
I connect this to, like, if Ralph calls me and like all y'all stuff is connected to an Apple ID, correct? Like, past your phone numbers, everything's connected to an Apple ID. Anything from this Apple ID can show me their picture, but that's it. You know what I mean? Like, hopefully there's some features like that.
I am being optimistic to hope that there is an opt-in, opt-out feature with this. They also said that anything that they detect as spam calls will not be able to do that. Do the contact photo thing.
Fair.
So they did mention that.
Because the spam caller going to be like, oh, this is Amazon telling you that someone used your bank card. Give us your bank card information so that we can check.
Or even if we want to go into like phishing attacks, and it's a different name for when you do it over the phone. Phishing is email, but as a scammer or, whatever, I go on your Instagram, I screenshot a picture of your closest friend and call you from a random number. You seeing your friend on the contact photo, you just pick it up,
Girl, I got a new Cash App. Send me about $50 to this specific Cash App.
Right.
So I'm just, I'm hoping that there are opt-in, opt-out features, and the fact that they mentioned spam calls specifically, I'm hoping that they're boosting whatever algorithm that they have to decide what's a spam call and what's not a spam call. I hope that's like beefed up for anybody who tries to abuse it.
Yeah. It is
security
interesting.
got to be on point.
Yes. Security it has to be on point.
And they can use some AI to make sure that people don't put like really graphic images as their pictures. Like they could integrate that if they wanted to.
Yeah. Other thing I saw that was pretty cool, but not like groundbreaking stuff. The offline maps feature seemed pretty cool.
I did like that because there's definitely some dead zones.
Yeah. And it was like you can preset, like you could set your spot and save your location that you want to go to, and then as you're driving, like what Ralph was saying, you end up in a dead zone or something like that, you don't lose that GPS connection.
I'm not going to be the Android user that says we already had that, but I do want to ask, do Apple users mostly use Apple Maps? Because a lot of the Apple users I've met typically use Google Maps. Like, do y'all prefer Apple Maps?
I don't use Apple Maps because I haven't used Apple Maps in a long time, because the first time I used Apple Maps, it didn't take me where I wanted to go. So I was like, okay.
She said, "You one and done. One time, too many.
Yeah, one job."
So I usually use Google Maps, but I have rode with some people who use Apple Maps, and I can tell there's been some improvements to the application versus when I used it and decided, nah, I'm not using Apple Maps. So
same for you, Ralph, or you kind of like in between?
I use Apple Maps pretty much a good 90% of the time. The only time I really use Google Maps is when we're all on a trip together or something like that. Just to kind of keep up with everybody.
Because you can do that location. You remember that location thing we did at DreamCon?
Yeah, that was smart. Actually, we gotta do that again. Because I think I got lost from y'all and I had to track y'all.
You did,
yeah.
But I mean, Apple has really came a long way with their maps. Like now, you can set markers for. Say you see a police officer sitting somewhere and you can set a marker for it, and it will let other Apple Map users know that you're coming up on a speed trap or something like that. Or say, for instance, like they got a lot better with that direction and stuff too.
I hate to
know
be
that.
Ryan. I hate to be Ryan.
I know.
But Google
Say it, Phoop. Say it. Say it with your
But
chest.
Google,
Can I finish
but
my
Google,
thought?
but
Say it from
Google
the
Can I
Maps do
finish
the
my
diaphragm.
thought?
same.
Say it from
Can
the
I finish my
diaphragm, Phoop.
thought?
Push it out.
But to Ralph's point is that some of these common features that should be included, Apple is getting there. Because even the step away from the maps, now with FaceTime where you can send audio or video messages to somebody don't answer the phone, we already know Duo had it. But it's just one of those things that, okay, y'all are taking in this common sense stuff and adding it to the apps. So we're
Duo's
moving
called Google Meet
forward.
now, by the way.
Yeah, it's Google Meet.
They be changing all day stuff.
Look,
New
I
logo,
feel
everything.
I know, because I was
confused
looking
when
for
they
the
first
Duo
did it.
call thing and realized it was the Google Meet button, and I was like, sure.
It's because it kind of like Apple. They just want it all to be colorful, look like an image with the rainbow interlocked into it.
I think it's because they want to switch. Because was Duo always owned by Google, or did Google buy Duo?
Yeah, Duo is Google software, but deep dive. Google goes through. Will have the same app modified and change the name because it used to be Hangouts. Hangouts used to be what Kik was, but Hangouts had a video chat feature. Then they made Google Messages and Google Duo, which were separate. But then they came out with Google Voice. Duo modified became Google Meet, and you still got like Google Messages somewhere, but it's just called Messages, and you got a green one and you got a blue one. They will kill projects, update projects, and make new projects, and they're kind of slow to like update you on it all, like tell you about it and let you know what's really going on.
Okay.
Especially since I got Samsung, so like Pixel phone will probably have all of the updates first, and you can see it as it changes. While Samsung, we gotta kind of get it a few days later, and then the colors will change. We won't really know what's going on.
Okay.
But the big talk of WWDC was the Apple Vision Pro. And we had a lot of boos, we had some yays, and it was some people like, why is it this high?
I think because when I watched the video, when I watched the video that laid out everything that you could do with it, all of and even when they went into the design, like it's 2 chips in that MFR. They had to build something for the resolution. It was like when they really broke it down, I was like, I get it, because the amount
cameras at the bottom, cameras on the inside tracking your eyes, cameras at the top, cameras on the outside, all of that.
And when you put it in perspective of the stuff that you would have to buy physically to replicate that, could equal, if not more, than the price of the headset. So I was like, $3,500 is a lot, but to me it made sense when they broke it down of like all the things that you can do with it, all the features, all the tech, the processing, everything that went behind it. I was like, okay, it makes sense.
All right. Also, another thing about Apple that people forget, because you can finance an iPhone for 2 years, Apple is not meant for the average consumer. Like, this ain't to bring like classism and all that other stuff in there. Apple is really marketed towards like upper class people. Like, everything they make that has Pro is not meant for a regular person. Like the Mac Tower PC, that's not meant for a regular PC connoisseur. That's meant for people working at Disney and Hulu and Paramount to make 3D videos and do their video editing with 4K, 8K cameras. That was meant for them. This VR, is actually an altered reality helmet, spatial tech. This isn't meant for a regular person. This ain't meant for no college student. This ain't meant for somebody working our jobs. This is meant for a random millionaire who wants it to relax.
And when you said that, when they got to the part of the video where it was screen right here, screen right here, screen right here, and people clicking it, like, and all I saw in my head was Tony Stark, and I was like,
exactly. Like, no controllers. Like, you can, Like I watched a test video and like literally you're doing this to like drag and drop plus press a
Mm-hmm.
button, and because they're tracking your eyes, they know exactly what you're looking at. You look to the left at
Did
your
you
text
see?
messages, click, and you clicked on the
Did you
exact
s-
one you was looking at.
did you see the FaceTime thing?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, when you do FaceTime, you take you're supposed to take the helmet off, and they have some type of machine learning thing that scans your face. So then, when you put the helmet on and you do FaceTime, the people on FaceTime see your actual face. They don't see you with a headset on, and they're using machine learning to like track your reactions and all that other stuff. And I was like, yo,
And the images you're seeing is like 4K. So when you're sitting up in
Yeah.
there and you can basically make it to where you're looking at a 32-inch TV screen in front of you or a big screen like a movie
mm-hmm.
theater, 4K, and somehow they condensed it so your eyes can recognize all of that.
And the
Crazy.
sound, the way that they are porting, man,
That's not
I
for
mean,
the average consumer. That's not.
that's what I was saying. Like the amount of money that you would have to spend replicating it using computers, monitors, cameras, lighting, headphones, all of that. By the time you finish buying all of it, you probably have already paid for the Vision Pro, if not more.
yeah.
And then even with the dial, because it's technically not a VR helmet, but how the dial on the side makes it to where you can fully immerse yourself into what you're seeing. Because originally it's
Mm-hmm.
like you got a cutout, and now you can be like, oh, I'm in the mountains or I'm in an office because I turned the dial to fully maximize what I'm seeing. That is
Mm-hmm.
some high end technology,
They
bro.
said they use spatial something to recognize certain objects, like basically to like get a layout of your area, just so they can fully immerse whatever content you're watching, to fully immerse you in it, to make you feel like you're actually there. Like there is some high level hardware behind this headset.
Like it's almost unfair to call it a headset. It is a mobile PC on your face, and
Basically,
it's not a cell phone plugged into your face like with the phones where you put them into the AR helmets. No, way more intense than that.
like it come with its own battery and everything. And did you see the part about with the MacBook? Like they had a part where the girl was at a hotel. Like the way that they marketed it was top tier, because she was like the way they set it up, like she was at a hotel, like preparing for a conference or something. So she had like the presentation right here, some notes right here, two people on her team on FaceTime right here, and I was like, yeah. And then they had the part where she had sat down on the hotel bed and she was on her MacBook, and the headset automatically connected to the MacBook, and the screen blacked out on the MacBook and then just came up like the way that you would see it if you were using the Vision Pro. And I was like, yo.
Now, question. So the thing that was hooked on their right side, is that the battery pack?
Yeah, it dangles
No.
from your
The
thing that had the cord hanging from it.
Yeah, it was a cord hanging to it.
Yeah,
that's the battery pack.
I thought
like
you
if
was
you
talking
want
about the dial.
Yeah, like if you walk away and you have the battery pack plugged in, I think it lasts like 2 hours.
Yeah, so you have to have the battery pack in your pocket. You got to walk around with that joint. Like if you doing like anything physical, like the example I said with the girl walking around, having all her pictures and photos and stuff like that, that would be something you would have to have in your pocket. But like if the other example, like if you were sitting down watching a movie, they also show like playing games and stuff like that, you could probably have it plugged up in a stationary spot and do your business.
I don't know. I mean, they do have competitors now. They got the Quest 2 Pro. They got the PlayStation VR 2. They got the HP Reverb G2 and the HTC Vive Pro 2.
I would say one thing that they have, at least for me, on the Oculus, is the back part of the VR Pro looks like it'll be extremely comfortable if you had to keep it on for a long amount of time. Because the way that Oculus is set up, like after a certain point, it doesn't feel really comfortable like around your head once you keep it on for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I would argue, technically those aren't their competitors in a sense that they're not trying to take their audience. The Oculus audience, the PlayStation VR audience, Apple ain't targeting them. They going for the millionaires who just want a high end, because like it has a lot of features, but casually, even the people who can't afford this, what are they really going to use it for? Probably just to enjoy a movie, take pictures. It can play. They might play some video games with it just to say I got it. Like it's really a trial in my opinion.
I think they really going for people who like. I think they're really going for like business execs, like that specific example that I keep referring to. I really think that they're going for like business execs that travel a lot, have to like collaborate with a whole bunch of people. Like, how can I do this on the fly? How can I do this without having 16 laptops or 18 tabs open at the same time?
But still, they still showed 2K, which is a popular game. One of probably the popular games that people will play and go to, which is pretty much the same every year.
But the people who play 2K on a regular basis can't afford it. That's what I'm like, and that's not attacking them, but like the guys who are in college playing 2K, Apple's not marketing this to them. They're marketing it to probably the eccentric business executive who might play 2K for like an hour a week because he always on a plane somewhere, going somewhere, doing something.
Or the content creators that actually make the content that people watch.
I wanted to bring that up. Like, I was seeing the way that it was set up. I was seeing it from like a content creator perspective. Like, that would be really dope for them. Like, you have your game right here based on the machine learning thing. Like, people watching you is not gonna see you with this headset on. They just gonna see your face. You got your comments coming in right here. You could have your social media up right here. And I was like, that would be a dope setup for a streamer.
Yeah.
The major
all they
ones
was missing
definitely
was showing how Twitch would look. Really, that's all they was missing.
Yeah. But it's interesting though because they didn't really tackle the science, because I think when Microsoft announced the HoloLens, they was talking about like the ambitions for it, where like once the technology matures, surgeons can use this and essentially have a device on their face like saying, oh, this blood vessel connects to this portion of the brain is this part, this is the error, it shouldn't look like this, we're doing a heart surgery, this is a separation from an artery to a vein, and all that different stuff. Right. I'm surprised they didn't go into that.
But I think it just goes back to your point that Apple targets a specific group of people. Mm-hmm. Like, I think you said this one time, the last time we had an Apple conversation, is that Apple is I forgot what kind of company you called it.
Luxury brand.
It wasn't luxury. It was something specific. I don't want to call it entertainment, but it was something along the lines of that they're not really in it to like push technology into like, oh, look what we can do in the medical field. Look what we could do in this field. This is more so look of how you can consume your entertainment in a different type way.
Yeah, they don't present themselves in that way. Like, this is, I want the most luxurious high end form of entertainment, and that's Apple. That's Apple. Right. In some cases, you can't. It's functional. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, high end luxury entertainment. Mm-hmm. I would buy it if I could. Don't get me wrong. If I could afford this, I'd be trying to be in Ready Player One.
I would never buy I would never buy a TV again.
Never, bro.
And the other part of it that I thought was really cool is that one thing I noticed with the Oculus, like once you put it on and they put you in that little meta area, if there's somebody talking to you, you can't see them. Like, they're not in the space with you. The first thing that they showed with the Vision Pro is like, yeah, I'm in my spatial whatever with my screen and my apps. But if Ryan walks up to me like this, I can turn to Ryan, clearly see Ryan in my space. We having a conversation, but I still have my screen. I don't have to exit out of that space to talk to him.
You're Tony Stark. You literally become Tony Stark with Jarvis.
Basically.
Now, since y'all are saying y'all would buy it, what if Apple decides to make it leasable? Like you can pretty much do monthly payments with Afterpay or
I
something
mean, you
along those
can.
lines.
I mean, you can do that now. They
That's
already
Yeah.
have. They already have them at Afterpay thing.
that's why they
Oh,
created the Apple credit card.
they
That's why
there it go
that's
right
why that was
there.
created.
already got it. Like it was. I don't know. I forgot what they're calling it, but Ryan's exactly right. Like if you get an Apple card, you can buy Apple products and pay monthly payments on it.
Yeah. That's a 2-year, $150 a month plan, which is financially why I wouldn't recommend regular people getting it because that just traps you in debt and some other stuff. But this is not a
Mhm.
financial advice platform. But you could get away with doing that. And that's exactly what's going to happen. There's going to be
Yeah.
a couple of college students who does the same ones who get the first pair of sneakers that drop who are going to be walking around this and they're paying it off. You're going to see a few, just a couple.
Yeah.
Is it going to be me though?
No. I think
No.
the fact that they debuted that Apple Afterpay feature first and then was like, hey,
There we go.
VR Pro 3500, but look what you but you don't have to buy it all in one payment.
Control
You
and
can break it
marketing,
down.
you getting it? It's all connected. Apple is real smart. I don't like them, but hats off to them. Amazing company with some amazing marketing.
Yeah, the way they market some of this stuff is just that video for that Vision Pro. Because when I first saw it, and I was like, $3,500, you must have lost your goddamn mind. But then I watched the video.
And now you're like, 3,500 ain't that bad.
But then I watched the video.
There you go.
But I was like, but then like once I watched the video, I was like, I get it. Because like by the time that you buy everything to replicate what's going into this headset, you're gonna pay about the same amount.
So I got a question for y'all. What's the future for this looking like? Like, this is stuff that people, scientists, movie buffs, conspiracy theorists predicted years ago. Years ago. TVs on your face and blah, 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 blah. We started getting that like 6 years ago. Google tried creating the Google glasses. We still got Snapchat glasses. What's it going to look like when this Apple Vision Pro, when Google, Dell, Microsoft, they start making consumer-friendly versions? Or in 10 years when the chips get small enough and the cameras get small enough, and now they look like regular glasses like yours we're on right now, Phoop, and the cameras are built into the screen. What's that going to look like? We living in Wall-E. You said what, Rob?
We're gonna have a chip in our head by the time we
Elon's
realize
already creating that. Elon already creating that.
He don't have no good test behind it though. I don't understand how that even got approved based on the test results.
Money got it approved.
Influence, grants.
I would say just because of that, I see the future of this. If they don't vet, like when you brought up the consumer friendly part of it, like if they don't really look into and vet these consumer friendly versions that could come out in the future, we might see some issues.
Yeah, I could definitely see
because you have to look at the cybersecurity part of it. Like what's these consumer friendly, right? Or even with the I don't really see. I could see Apple, but I kind of don't. I could see like the consumer friendly version. Like how easy is it going to be to hack into these headsets?
Apple is decently good with their security to where I wouldn't be upset.
That's what I was saying. Like I don't see it happening with Apple, but then if we get down into Google, we get down into Dell. Like we already know the cybersecurity risk when it comes to just the computers, the operating systems, everything like that. Like how does that play into the headset?
It's going to be like Cyberpunk. Once you got the built-in robotic eyes and everything, someone's going to look at you and they're a net runner and they're going to hack into your stuff. You got on your helmet and you're like, who is this in my peripherals? Can I take it off? Now sealed. You're stuck.
Now, I think to step back from the Blerd standpoint and go into a technical standpoint, I feel like they're just going to create their own coding language for it. If it comes down to security being that big of an issue, they're just gonna create their coding language, just like Apple did. They created their own coding language
Yeah.
specifically catered to their own devices,
That's
and
true.
they haven't really had many cybersecurity issues since they did that.
And Google and Amazon have fixed some of their stuff. Like, remember when they was hacking to
Yeah.
folks' Alexas and stuff? That was some years ago. Back.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not talking to you, Google. Stop. Like, no, because I just see her. She's still typing. Like, she's still typing. Like, actively record.
I had to make sure mine ain't cut on.
I should just say, but she gonna keep going. But Amazon fixed their stuff to where it couldn't get hacked. Google stuff never really had any major incidents. My whole thing is what's going to happen when all this stuff is so super connected. Like, what's going to happen when this Apple headset 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line gets more polished, and you got your Apple Watch in front of it, so you pull up your watch while you got the headset, then those screens pop up. Or you got your phone, and then that screen slides over like Jarvis and all this other stuff because they're so interconnected. That's going to be dope, bro. The Apple TVs and everything.
It's been small instances of things getting done like that. Like, I don't know if you guys seen the restaurants that are testing out augmented reality as far as ordering your food. You get to see it in person of how it looks before you actually get it. I know it's been at least 10 years, but I don't know if you guys remember the keyboards that you could actually type on your desk. It was just like, a projected screen of a keyboard.
Yeah.
It's pretty much going to be a mix of both of those.
Yeah, man.
So we've been coming down the line, getting closer to it.
And we got about 10 years before they try to make it real tiny. 15 to 20 before they're as tiny as Phoop's glasses right now.
Yeah.
And because we already got cameras behind phone screens and everything, and a Galaxy's integrating that. Give it a few more years. Just a few more years. We're gonna be alive for it.
Hey, them chips big as hell. So they got a couple years before they can make them joints smaller.
I'll say 15 to 20 before they about the size of
two of them. So the first there's two chips. The first thing they got to do is how do we make this one chip? Yeah. That's the first thing they got to do.
That's going to take like 5 to 8 years.
They got to take the two chips and turn it into one. The second thing is, okay, how do we make the chip smaller, but keep the same processing and power running?
Right.
Like they still got some things to work on before they ever look like this. Before I ever put some Ray-Bans on my face and be Tony Stark for real.
I mean, Snapchat already making its way slowly but surely, and I think it was another company that has some glasses.
Yeah, I've seen the Snapchat glasses, but they're thick though.
I could see it to where the frame is like no thicker than my OtterBox phone. Like it'll be about that thick, and it's gonna look kind of goofy, and it's just gonna be like some thick black frames. I could see that happening in like 10 to 12 years.
Yeah.
They not gonna look cool. They gonna look real goofy. They might not even go over your nose right. Like that nose bridge might be thick and rectangular, but that's progress.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm interested to see. I'm very interested to see the consumer friendly versions of the Pro.
Donate to that Kofi link so the Blerd mob can get some Apple Vision Pros, you guys. Link below.
Man, we will tell you firsthand how this turned out. We'll stream it. We'll stream it.
Third person, first person view, all of that.
We'll stream it. 3,500. Link in the
bio. Video games, bro. Movie experiences, they finna go crazy when people.
Hey, the movie, the video game part of the trailer wasn't that convincing to me. It wasn't, but that movie, the demonstration of like the movie, they had me. They had
making
me
the screen as big as you want,
as you want. Actually feeling like you're in the movie. The lighting changing based on the environment, like that sold me.
It's going to be crazy.
Okay.
I honestly don't. I won't say I honestly don't think. I feel like going back to Ralph's point, I think they should have picked a different game than 2K to demonstrate that you can play games on it.
They had to pick something neutral, but I know I know we're gonna get into like games later, but like that Assassin's Creed Nexus thing where they show like 3 like virtual reality Assassin's Creed, if they picked a game like that or something, since Ubisoft is a multi-platform and you ain't necessarily picking a side between Sony and Microsoft, I think that would have been really cool to see what that would look like.
I think they should have picked something other than 2K. Because I was like, I don't really play 2K. I mean, it's cool I can play games on it, but 2K didn't really say, ooh, games. Like
it's a popular game. It's sports. Call of Duty's violent.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If we want to put it into perspective, yes, 2K is the safest choice out of games you could have put in this marketing video.
The only other thing could have been like Fortnite, but Fortnite's everywhere. Everybody markets Fortnite as their like virtual reality or high-end tech thing.
Yeah. I feel you. I'm not mad that they put 2K. It was just like, for me, I was like, okay, sure. But
she said, y'all couldn't do the Arkham Knight? Like, come on now.
Shit, Spider-Man. Like, come on.
Hey, ooh. Virtual reality Spider-Man swinging.
Like, you could have just shown 15 seconds of Miles or Peter swinging across New York, and that would have been it for me. that would have been it for me. Like, you don't have to show them fighting, you don't have to show the enemies, you don't have to show none of that. Just
none of that.
Seeing them whip across New York.
Now. That down payment right now.
For real, $400 down payment. I don't even want the monthly to be $150. Drop it to $125. Facts.
Oh man. But I do want to move on to our next topic. Staying on the topic of games, we did get some more game showcases this past couple weeks. We got Summer Game Fest, the Xbox 2023 Showcase, and Ubisoft Forward 2023. Now, there are some highlights that I do want to discuss, some big things. We got the Mortal Kombat 1 gameplay. We got a trailer for The Witcher 3. And we also got a release date for Spider-Man 2 with the news that Venom won't be Eddie Brock. So they're straying away from the comic book OG Venom. But before we touch on those 3, there were some other games that were showcased at these gaming showcases. So what stuck out to you guys?
I know you saw your Alan Wake, Ralph.
Yeah, did you watch the gameplay for that?
Yeah, I did.
How'd you feel about it?
The movement, I loved it. It's a little bit more fluid. I don't know if y'all saw the side-to-side comparison between Alan walking through like by stairs versus him like bumping into like, let me get myself back together. I mean, that's pretty much what he did. That's what he did.
He said,
Okay. Okay.
I mean, it's an improvement. It's an improvement.
That's what stuck out. I ain't mad at you.
But no, like that was just one of the things I noticed. The flashlight has gotten an update. At least on Alan Wake, the first game, you would have to swap. And so I'm interested to see if Alan will still have that ability to just swap between a gun and a flashlight, or are they gonna allow him to hold both? Like the police officer did. But except, she's a police officer already trained to do that. But I'm interested to see how they expand upon the first story. I'm very interested to see how is this going to tie into, like going down the line. Is this going to be, is there going to be another game afterwards? Is this going to be, the end of Alan Wake? Or, I would assume, my assumption is they're going to continue on, probably make another one to give it a trilogy kind of feel, just to finish it. But,
okay.
I mean, I enjoy it. It still has the same eerie feeling. Okay. I definitely, that jump scare with that deer man running through that wall. Yeah.
That was cold.
Yeah.
They had to let y'all know the spooky shit is still here.
Yeah. Man.
But, I mean, that's my lookout game. I'm definitely getting it.
Okay.
I already pre-ordered.
What about you, Ryan?
I'll be controversial. For all of these showcases, Xbox won for the first time in forever. For the first time in a long time, Xbox won these showcases because we're finally starting to see those 15 studios, including Bethesda, that Microsoft bought, and their games are coming out. Fable, which is an old fantasy RPG that Xbox had, finally coming back. Super excited for that. Avowed, which they showed one teaser trailer some years ago, looks phenomenal. Bright colors, and it's taking place in another game's universe I didn't even know about. Payday 3 looks solid. I'm glad they showed it off. But Starfield, y'all know I don't like sci-fi. Y'all know fantasy is my niche. I normally stem away from sci-fi. But that 45-minute, hour-long direct where you can fly through space, customize your ship, the gunplay looks solid, the companion system, the way you can recruit people to your spaceship, all the different modifications, the different worlds, it looked like Bethesda's back. And super excited for that. All the games I just named, they already pre-ordered on Amazon.
I definitely saw multiple. I think I would have to agree with you as far as Xbox's showcase, because there was multiple. The amount of highlights that came out for PlayStation versus Xbox, Xbox had way more highlights.
Yeah.
And these are Microsoft exclusives too. Like, looking really, really good. PlayStation, obviously we talked about PlayStation. I ain't gonna go into Final Fantasy. I'm not gonna talk about Assassin's Creed. You already know I'm playing.
Hey, but that gameplay though.
That gameplay looked good.
It's back to the OG.
That gameplay though was.
You think it's gonna pull you over?
It might. that gameplay was not, because I have played a little bit of Assassin's Creed. I just haven't finished the game, but there were elements that I saw playing an older version in this new one, and then the way that they enhanced it, like that feature where you could, like, you remember it was like the mission where he was on the little thing and he
summoned them
selected
little
like 3
spirits
people,
and he like fought through all 3 of them. That was fire. Now fire. Now fire.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
It was cold, bro. Even the little bird feature, like they.
Oh, I wanted to bring that. Is that something new that they did? The animals?
Yes. So around the time they made their last trilogy of Odyssey and all of them, they made it to where you could use the bird as like a recon drone. But they never had it to where, oh, people can see and they'll shoot them down, and that plays into the difficulty of the game. They never did that before. I was like, that's cold. That's cold.
Hey,
I ain't want a fanboy. That's cold.
I wanted to bring up the game. I just wanted to bring up the gameplay because it looked nice.
Join the club. They said they back to the basics, bro, and they showing out. Them Ubisoft, y'all look like y'all showing out. But I think that's most of it. X Defiant looked kind of good, like a decent shooter. Most shooters ain't been catching my eye lately, so I might check X Defiant out as well. Okay. And Star Wars Outlaws look like it's an Avatar. Look like some games I should keep my eyes on.
Star Wars Outlaws looked okay to me. It looked okay. Avatar, I'm not a big Avatar fan, but then even just watching like the trailer, I was like, I'm not gonna be into this.
I wouldn't pay full price for it.
The sceneries or whatever, the storyline looks compelling, like the things that you have to do. But I was like, I don't think I'm gonna be really into this game.
Nah, Avatar, I had a bit of a feeling that they were going to go the video game route for sure. Especially with how much time they had between making movies. I know they was working on stuff in the background, and this is what they was working on. Which is
I think they announced it a while back though, Ralph.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we didn't get another movie because they was also doing that in parallel. So
I think they're trying to immerse more people into the world of Pandora. Just like because of Ralph said, like the movies are so spaced out. Like, okay, we watched this movie and then 10 years later, I don't remember what happened.
Exactly.
I don't know. I haven't heard, because they have a Pandora area in Animal Kingdom, but I haven't really been seeing a lot of buzz on that. So the game had to be the next step.
It feels I don't want to say this. Maybe we need to talk to some real Avatar fans, but it feels kind of forced. Like for everybody to say like Avatar, the Blue People Avatar is like this big brand, super huge. Everybody's excited for the movie. I'm not saying people ain't excited, but it seems like it's blown out of proportion. Like this ain't like the best thing since sliced bread. At least I'm not seeing people say that.
It looked boring to me.
Yeah, like I'm not seeing real people love this franchise.
Same.
Yeah. Like anybody y'all follow that's not IGN, GameSpot, CNET, some big company.
I just don't see people talk about Avatar on the daily unless it's anging them.
Yeah.
if it's not anging them, anging them. I do not see the blue people on my TL. I don't.
I want to meet an Avatar fan. Like I really want to meet a fan and be like, do y'all? Because I haven't seen them. I've not seen them, bro.
I haven't seen them. The game just seemed like something that, we should make a game, and like the concept is there. It's just it wasn't compelling. When I was watching that trailer, it was not compelling to me.
The trailer wasn't really compelling, but I was a fan of the first movie, and I felt like the first movie did good, especially during the time that it came out. It did really good. They told a complete story, and I didn't see a need for the second. Hence, I haven't seen the second at all, and I was like, okay, well, they're making another movie. Just like, okay, they're making a video game. I don't too much care. It's like they didn't give me enough to care for it yet.
Yeah.
It might happen down the line, maybe, if they start to make more movies and things start to make sense as to pushing the story forward. So right now, it just kind of feels like they're doing things to kind of just maintain their relevancy for something.
Yeah. I think if the movie releases were closer together to where, we're getting that back-to-back content, I think the game would have made more sense. Or as Ryan put it, it wouldn't have felt as forced.
Yeah.
Like, say for instance, instead of waiting 10 years to hear back about anything for Avatar, maybe give us a game in between that time to kind of carry your name through.
Yeah,
that's true, because the theme part I really didn't hear anything about the Pandora portion until they announced the second movie. And then that was like, oh, along with this, we are putting Pandora in Animal Kingdom. And I was like, maybe if you guys would have did that when the first movie came out and put something in there for Animal Kingdom, then it would have been something that we could continue to experience until you guys made the next movie. And like Ralph said, if you guys would have threw a game in between there, then we have that continued Avatar content to feed on until you guys put out this movie.
Yeah.
Because like y'all, they're not really like expanding the franchise. Like I see that they want to be like the next Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, or whatever franchise. Like I see that they want to do that, but y'all aren't bringing us into the universe. Like, are there any extra books, any short series, like competition to keep the consumer's eyes? Like, there's a lot of entertainment properties out there. You making movies, nobody's finna beat MCU in real life. Nobody, not right now, not in the next 5-10 years, really. And like, y'all aren't really building a community. Y'all, it's too spaced out. Y'all ain't giving us nothing to cling to.
I would definitely agree with that.
Their downfall, I wouldn't even say downfall, because they're trying to make it back to where they were, but that hiatus for 10 years really cost them. Mm-hmm. That's just like a content creator not doing anything for a year and they've been consistent for a while. All your content will pretty much start to lose its algorithm. It will be out of the algorithm at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you have to pretty much restart. So I guess they're trying to restart where they believe they dropped the ball. And maybe it's a little bit too late. Maybe it's not.
I think the game would have served better if it was VR. Because we complained about how Horizon wasn't really what we thought it was. I think the Avatar, just because of the scenery. Like, if I give Avatar anything, the world building
Looks
that they
beautiful.
have is,
It looks good.
it looks spectacular, and I think they really should have hopped on the VR wave with it.
I feel like they should have done a couple of things because it's like you got a really interesting sci-fi world, but even with the second movie, like all the different clans and everything, they really got into it with the video game. This is something I feel like I would have been immersed in if y'all took the time to build a real community 10 years ago or even 5 years ago, instead of just saying, oh, we're re-releasing this amazing movie in theaters 7 years, 8 years later. I don't even remember it. You know how many great movies then came out that I want to re-release in theaters? You're not number one. Like, just being real. That's not to be offensive, but just being honest.
Nah, for real. Because
Y'all should have been dropped some books or board games or something.
Short series or something. You could have did animated content.
They probably have been dropping books, but I ain't been reading.
I ain't seen them.
They got books?
Isn't Avatar based on a book? I would assume it is.
Is it?
I don't know.
Well, because we don't know the answers to these questions, we gonna move on. Because
what games got you, Phoop?
I really, like I said, Star Wars Outlaws was okay. Payday 3 looked interesting. I'm not a real big, well, Hogwarts Legacy did get me, but I'm not really a big fantasy game. So like the games that you brought up, like Fable, Avowed, they did look good, but that's not my
cup of tea.
Yeah, it's not my cup of tea. But we do have to talk about this Mortal Kombat 1 gameplay.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Tag Team X-Rays. The cameo fighters, actually, because my big thing was how significant the cameo fighters were going to be in the gameplay. They look pretty significant to me. The stages look more realistic. The fatalities are lovely. Katanas, when she had the fan and you turn the dude and she just chop him. Man. But that was beautiful. It gave me, I'm excited for the beta.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
The more news, the other news that came out with it is that, so the Sub-Zero in Mortal Kombat 1 is behind, and Scorpion and Sub-Zero are supposed to be brothers. Very interesting take. Melina and Kitana are twins, and Melina has a disease that makes her get the mouth structure that we're used to. And they kept that creepy ass voice. So I was like, okay. Her moveset look fire too. She whooped Katana ass on that gameplay.
Because he made this universe. Y'all realize that, right? Like, I get that the NetherRealm Studios, we got to make a good video game for the fans. But I'm like, in retrospect, wasn't Liu Kang the good guy? Wasn't he nice and honorable?
But you have to look at what I like about like the changes and what you're about to get into is that Liu Kang has now taken the role of Raiden. And if we remember anything about Raiden, everything he did was questionable.
Yeah.
AF.
Yeah.
So this is just him. This is just him taking on that role and doing these questionable AF choices. And it's like, okay, this is what we do.
And I'm gonna be real. Liu Kang might be my main again. In 11, it was Jade, and in X, it was Liu Kang. But his combo, that kick,
Liu Kang looks nice. I'm gonna have to check out Kenshi too. I'm gonna have to check him out. Now the gameplay I was a little bit disappointed in, and hopefully this is just because whatever. I was a little bit disappointed in Scorpion's gameplay. just because Scorpion is my main in 11. He wasn't my main in 10. He was my main in 11. And just looking at his gameplay in 1, it's just like, you're not really giving me what I was expecting out of Scorpion. And I don't know if that's on purpose.
Could have been who was
or
playing
what.
him as well.
Probably.
Well,
Because
the Scorpion that they're using is a young Scorpion, right?
Yeah.
True. And
so he might not have all the movesets and everything for
That's true. The other point that they brought up is that they don't think this is the undead version, the Hellfire Scorpion. And I was like, okay, y'all making good points. So I do wonder what his moveset is going to look like. But even then, like, the Kenshi we saw in Mortal Kombat X and the Kenshi we saw in this gameplay trailer,
raw
levels,
different,
raw
levels. So I think it might have been just the person who was playing as Scorpion, but y'all got to give me some more than what y'all just showed me. All he don't even say get over here. That made me mad. He told some come here. What? Y'all didn't hear him say come here? He don't say get over here. Come here.
Stop. Don't touch me there. These are my no-no squares. That's what I'm gonna tell him. Like, what? Come here. Ugh. That's creepy.
Oh, man. Other announcements that I've been seeing from Ed Boon is that he said there is no crypt in the game. They're going to have a different way of doing the unlockables. The Combat Kids, which contain Cassie Cage, Jackie Briggs, Kung Lao, and Takeda, don't exist yet, which is weird because Takeda is a DLC. But I guess in the story, they don't exist yet. They're not born yet. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. Rumored cameo fighters, at least from what we saw in the gameplay trailers, Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Kung Lao, Sonya Blade, Kano, Jax, Goro, and they're bringing back Stryker.
Okay.
And then main roster, I think we've already listed this out before, but just as a reminder, main roster is Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Liu Kang, Raiden, Kung Lao, Kitana, Melina, Kenshi, and Johnny Cage, and then Shang Tsung.
Currently, yeah.
So
yeah, currently.
I guess the burning question would be what characters will we like to see, because they know we know they're gonna do DLC characters.
I think Jade is in the game. I just don't know if she's playable, because I saw a video of so the way they're doing the character selection screen is similar to how they've done Injustice. Most recently Injustice 2. That when you pick their characters, they do this big boom animation where their arms are locking and they say a couple phrases. And there was one with Liu Kang and Kitana, and Liu Kang was like, hey, you really need to listen to the stuff that Countess Jade is telling you. And Kitana wasn't trying to hear all that, but I was like, okay, is Countess Jade referring to JJ? And is she just in the story for SNGs? Or is she going to be on the main roster?
I hope they bring my baby Jade to this game, because Jade showed out in Mortal Kombat 11. And I remember off camera, we said Sadell will probably be a good pick since Kitana and their world is still here now. I think Sadell will be great. And Outworld, I don't know if they bring in Aaron Black. They kind of did him a little dirty in the last game in comparison to X. Earthrealm, I don't know which.
Yeah, I don't know. Because there's so many characters, and it's just going back to the point that this is a reboot. This is the new era. It is possible that we might not get everybody in one. Mm-hmm. Just based on the story that they're trying to tell, because there is something coming up, a tournament or whatever, where Liu Kang is gathering his champions. And it could be possible that this set of champions that he's choosing for this storyline may not be everybody, or at least our favorites.
They got to put Reptile in there. Reptile's a classic. Ain't he almost in every game?
I don't think he was in 10. Reptile wasn't in 10.
He's
Was
in
he?
No,
like
he wasn't
most
in
of them
10.
though.
I don't
Like in terms of,
I think he's in.
he was
Was
in one.
he even in 11?
He was definitely in 10
I know
or
he's in
11.
9.
He was in
Yeah, he
11.
was in 9.
It might have been. It might be 11 because I don't remember seeing him on the roster on 10.
Ermac was
Ermac
there.
is on 10.
They could bring back
Yeah.
Goro. They
Well, they got
well,
Goro
they
as a
might be.
cameo
Could
fighter.
be. What about Shigoro then?
I didn't see anything about that.
Shiva.
Or
Shiva.
Shigoro, or are
He'll
you
Shiva.
talking
probably be a
about Shiva?
DLC character. Shiva.
Shigoro.
He
He'll
said
probably be a
Shigoro.
DLC character.
The dude with the messed up teeth and the spikes coming out his arms. Baraka. You
Baraka.
could put Baraka in there.
Baraka. He was.
I think
he
it just
was made
depends.
by Shang Tsung, wasn't it?
No, that was a race in
It
Outworld, I
was made
thought.
by him.
Melina
Yeah.
Melina was made by Shang Tsung because he combined the DNA of the Tarkatis,
Yeah.
which is what Baraka is, with Katana's DNA, and that's how they ended up making Melina.
Okay.
But I think it really just depends on what the story is, on who we're actually gonna get in this first installment
Yeah.
or in this reboot.
Playing the story mode will probably give us a lot of the answers of what's going to be included in this game.
That, and when you brought up about what characters are left, I did see something that in the coming weeks they're about to start putting out character trailers for everybody who's supposed to be on the roster for MK1. So I'm hoping that we may get some people that we didn't see in the gameplay coming out with these trailer releases. But what I wanted to ask you, Ralph, is do you think they're gonna turn Behind into Noob?
Yep.
So you
I already knew it.
You don't think they're gonna alter the story of Noob and make a new Noob?
I knew it. Now they might. So I will agree with both of y'all, except it all depends on what route they want to go down. They can either turn Behind into Noob and bring in somebody else to kind of pick up as Jesus. Why am I?
Or the second they bring up the second Sub-Zero, is he gonna be in this new era?
So it's all questionable. Now that the world is restarted, anything is possible pretty much. Anything that we could imagine is pretty much possible. Mm-hmm. They could have it to where instead of Behind having it, Scorpion turns something similar to that.
I think they gotta at some point, just like me wanting to see Behind turn into Noob, they have to give me Hellfire Scorpion. At some point in this storyline, I gotta get Hellfire Scorpion.
And I feel like that's just going to be down the line.
But it's interesting what they might do with the Lin Kuei in general, because if Scorpion is the brother of Sub-Zero, so is he a Lin Kuei or is he a Shiryu?
Yeah, he got it on
he should be a Lin Kuei.
He has the Lin Kuei
So if he's Lin Kuei, I also
uniform.
want to know about the other Lin Kuei assassins. Like, what about Smoke? Are Sector and Cyrax, are they gonna be robots this time around? Or are they gonna be in their original bodies? Smoke was cold.
Smoke was cold.
Look.
I guess it just depends on how Liu Kang reimagined the Lin Kuei.
Yeah. I mean,
because
it seems like a lot of the answers will only come once we play the game.
True. Because if Scorpion is now Lin Kuei, that goes back to Ralph's thing, is the Shiryu
that do matter
thing?
Because the Shiryu also had their own fighting style, but the Lin Kuei used a lot of different jutsus and everything, like with the smoke, the ice, and everything, which could allude to why Scorpion could be good with fire, because they all have their different jutsus and abilities and stuff, which would be cool.
Right.
I want to see what other Lin Kuei assassins they bring before I determine how Noob Saibot could come about, because I don't know.
I just know
I wouldn't mind seeing.
I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna be in one.
if
don't
he's
know.
not there and Smoke is there,
I know.
and probably Cyrex or Sector are reimagined, I wouldn't be upset.
Even if he's not a main character in the game,
It would
bring him as a cameo character. Give me him as a cameo.
It would just depend on how the villains are reimagined too, because part of Noob's makeup is Quan Chi. We haven't heard anything about him either.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
I just know that the gameplay is fire. There's still a lot of questions, but the gameplay is fire.
That's why I don't even want to touch the beta. Like, beta look cool. I was telling Phoop this off camera. I don't even want to touch it. I want the full experience of the game drop. That's when I'm gonna play it. That's when I'm gonna figure out what's going on here.
I want to play the beta. I hope they make the beta as small as possible.
Yeah.
That even with playing this beta, we still don't have. We can make assumptions, but we don't have definite answers.
Right.
About how this story is gonna go.
It look good though.
I'll be ready for the drop.
It look good. Me too.
I already pre-ordered it.
My pre-order list long on Amazon right now, y'all.
It's already. I just pre-ordered Spider-Man 2 yesterday. It's like it's up.
Now. Hold on. Let me break them.
It's up.
I got to pre-order it
in the middle of the episode.
That's so crazy. But
that's wild.
To touch a little bit on Spider-Man 2, and then we can move on to our last topic. So the fact that they said that Venom won't be Eddie Brock is opening the door that they are coming up with a new origin story for how Venom is going to manifest in Spider-Man. How do you guys feel about that? Based on what we've already seen from the past 2 Spider-Man games.
You go first.
I feel like Venom is still going to be lab created, except the attachment to one person for him getting his powers is not going to be, the height of what he can do. He can probably just control himself to make this form of Venom of what we know now, kind of thing.
Well, he doesn't make himself. He has to have a host. His host.
No, that's on.
You're saying that they might change it to where he doesn't need one?
Yeah.
I'm not too attached to the character Eddie Brock as I am just to the idea of a symbiote coming over and going wild. So as long as they keep the story interesting, like prior to me playing the games, I didn't really know much of who Miles Morales is. Remember, I took forever to even watch the first movie. So all of this as someone who's not too attached to any of the lore, as long as y'all make it look good and sound good, I'm going to enjoy Spider-Man too.
I'm interested to see who they choose because you got Venom coming, you have this Kraven the Hunter story on the side. We're also getting Lizard, and it's like Venom is alongside like Green Goblin, Doc Ock, and the rest of them. Venom is a formidable foe for Spider-Man. Right. So for them to step away from the lore and to create this new story, I'm interested to see on how that gets developed. Like, at what point does Peter get it? And if it's going to attach to somebody else, who's going to be that person they pick out the universe that's like, oh, this is Venom. We mesh. We going to work together. Once, I'm assuming that Peter's going to get rid of it at some point. Or is
Peter the permanent Venom?
Miles going to beat it out of him. That's what that is.
They going hey. That was interesting. Coming out of Summer Games Fest, learning that it wasn't going to be Eddie Brock was interesting to me. Not saying that the story is going to be garbage, but I'm excited to see how they make that work.
It's going to be a good time.
Hey, the games coming out this year is, hey, I'm telling you, Tekken 8 just need to be like, hey, we dropping in November.
Honestly, I slick don't want to drop because of how many games coming out. Like, I got to go through my pre-order list.
No, They need
I
to come
be
on.
broke.
They need to come on. They need to
I
come on.
feel you, but
They need to come on.
for me, Final Fantasy dropping this Friday, like next Friday. Assassin's Creed is in October. Spider-Man 2 is when? October as well. Mortal Kombat September. November would be a good spot, but
I apologize to your wallet, but I don't care about none of that. They need to come on.
crazy.
I don't care about. I don't care about none of that. I don't care about none of that. They need to,
Oh,
cause they
goodness.
need
Get
to
your
come
bank account.
on. I don't care about.
Forget all that.
Forget all that.
Psychotic.
They need to come on. Like,
So, are y'all gonna try Alan Wake 2?
I gotta play the first one.
Oh yeah, the first one is, I believe, on sale in your store.
You said it was horror though, and
It wasn't my cup of tea,
don't
but
do
I'll
that,
listen
Ralph.
to you talk about it.
I don't like if you get back into your streaming and be like, hey, I'm streaming
Yeah, I'll watch you
Alan Wake.
play.
I'll sit there with you and we can
I-
watch it together. But me
When do it
sitting
drop
there
again?
playing it.
While you playing it, I'll
October.
probably be playing like Mortal Kombat or something. I'll
If
put you on
I'm
my
correct.
phone. I'll have you to the side, and I'll be playing.
I got you.
Yeah,
I got you on
you
this
on the other
screen
screen.
right here, Ralph. I got you.
That's 2 views though for your Twitch affiliate.
Okay. I'm tired of you.
Oh,
but we
man.
gonna talk about Twitch.
Yeah.
Twitch already got complications. But anyway, next topic.
So our last topic is, so Tyler Perry has purchased BT and has now assumed control over the BET Media Group, which includes other networks such as VH1. He already owned, what I got in my research is that he already owned a 25% stake in BET, but with this purchase, now that stake has grown.
Yeah.
So we've already seen the fall of BET, and now with Tyler Perry owning the network, the hot takes that I want to touch are, what does that mean for BET going forward? What are we expecting from Tyler Perry now that he has assumed control? And what does that mean for Black actors, actresses, writers, producers, etc.?
Overall, Black actors and folks in the entertainment industry are finna win. Tyler Perry is really good about putting people on. I am interested to see what's going to happen to Tyler Perry Studios, or is that going to be merged with the current BET like assets in their studios? But it's a win for Black folks in the industry. It's definitely a win for them. As a consumer, though, who's not really into a lot of Tyler Perry's products, I don't know if it's a win for me unless he really like steps outside of the norm or hires other creative voices to like help him in discovering new stuff. Like BET was really involved in hip hop culture and stuff, for example, like with 106 & Park and everything else. And they tackled a lot of movies that didn't really fall into like Tyler Perry's soap opera-ish genre of films and like romance and dramas. Is he going to bring in some action? Is he going to bring in comedies that approach comedy in a different way from how he does it? I'm interested to see what he does because I wanted Diddy to own it personally, because I like what Diddy do.
What about you, Ralph?
Yeah. I mean, let's start off by saying congratulations to Tyler Perry by being the first African American to own 2 major television networks. I would give kudos to that. However, if to be devil's advocate to Ryan's perspective, what if he continued to try to control it all himself?
Yep, that was going to be one of my things.
Because he, based on what previous actors that have worked with him have said, he is very strict. He doesn't really listen to outside help.
And that thing with him and
really
Monique.
Listen to actors, like it's all everything is pretty much out there as far as pointing to negative reasons as to why this can turn out into a bad thing. But it all depends on if he hires the right people around him, if he does hire anybody to be around him to give him like word or be like a listening ear to what's trending, what people want to see, what people want to watch, what they want to listen to, and things like that. So it's just all it could be good or bad. Only thing I guess a positive would be more Medea reruns on like special occasions.
Is that a
No,
positive?
I can see
that's a
that.
negative.
Is that a
That's a
positive?
negative.
I would say for his plays, I liked his plays. The movies, I was like, eh.
If he's, I feel you. I like the plays more than I do some of the movies.
Yeah.
I have to agree with Ralph. Shout out to Tyler Perry, but I've heard like some negative things surrounding like how he works within himself, and then I looked up some of his projects, and he's a writer, producer, director,
I didn't
creator
know
on
that.
several of his projects. Like, I saw a screenshot from one of his shows. It was created, written, produced, and directed by Tyler Perry.
I didn't know
I
that.
did see that on Twitter.
And so with Ralph saying, with him owning BET, there is a legacy that comes with that. There are expectations that come with that.
Mhm.
That you just can't be, oh, I'm Tyler Perry and I own BET and all of my shows and all of my movies are going. There's a certain level of expectation. I hope that Tyler sees this as an opportunity to bring in aspiring actors and actresses and writers and producers and people who exist in that filmmaking arena to actually shine through this network. But because of his previous track record, I don't know. But I think he has to. I think he has to step outside of himself and allow this network to return to its former glory. Even I'm concerned of it from a music aspect, which is something that you touched on, Ron, because BET is just not movies and TV shows. There's a music expectation that comes with that as well. 106 in Park, Rap City, BET
And BET owns
Jams.
the Breakfast
Like,
Club now, which
that's
is really involved with the
you
culture.
right, but there's mixed reviews on the Breakfast Club as well.
Mhm.
But like Ron, like, to agree with Ron, I was kind of hoping that Diddy might have got it just because of that music aspect that he probably would have brought back to BT. I think that Tyler Perry needs a couple more people with him to fully execute his purchase. I don't think it
Yeah,
can just be him. I'm already expecting him to throw all of his shows, all of the Medea movies. I would be surprised if he puts the plays on there. I'm already expecting him to take all his content and throw it on BT.
and that's what I don't want,
I'm
because that's not
expecting
going to
that.
make me tune in. I don't want Black Entertainment Television, like, let's say the whole name, Black Entertainment Television, to become Tyler Perry Television. I don't want that. If you was going to buy BT and make it into something of or if your actual choice was to make it into you, say that. Announce that so we can all have our expectations preset. Because Diddy with Revolt TV and all the stuff he got going on over there, that's why I'm supporting him.
I mean, and then like even my other thing with Diddy, like Revolt TV is a good big point. But even looking at like Young Miami's podcast, like
All
her being an upcoming artist, like at diving into the culture, like all of the interviews she's had with these upcoming artists and stuff like that, that would, if putting that on BT, or even allowing more people who have podcasts like that, or younger artists or younger Black content creators and influencers to make a space on BT,
That's what I'm saying.
that
That
helps a
all is
lot
under the
too.
Revolt umbrella. That's what Diddy's doing with Revolt. So many platforms already under the Revolt platform. That's why I would have preferred he got it. I don't know if it was just a rumor, but I was like, he already has that mindset and that business acumen where he can prove I'm used to putting other people on in their own way. I'm not putting them on under me, putting them on, and they're able to expand and grow and develop their own platforms. I after y'all showed me these news about Tyler Perry, I don't know if he'll do that with BET.
And that's why I'm saying he needs that. I'm not mad that he has the network. I just think he needs more people to push whatever vision he has going forward, or hopefully somebody opens him up to like, hey, there's an expectation, there's a legacy behind BET. There are expectations with you, a black man owning the black entertainment television network. And what does that mean for music culture? What does that mean for the shows that we get? What does that mean for like award shows? What does that mean for the BET Awards? Like what? There's a lot that comes.
He's gonna be trying to host the BET Awards, and he gonna be like, "Oh, welcome to my BET Award."
Please, he gonna have Madea hosting the BET Awards.
If he do that for the first BET Awards, I'm never tuning in again. I'm sorry, bro. I will never tune in again.
Whoa, that's gotta be.
He gonna have Madea hosting the BET Awards. But I think he needs to step outside of himself. Now that he owns a network. Like, yeah, sure, put your Tyler Perry Studios stuff in it, do what you can to, keep pushing yourself up. But I hope that he turns a cheek and sees this as an opportunity to really build this network up and to build the community
and with
around
VH1.
Yeah.
Bring back them reality love shows we used to like. Real Chance of Love, I Love New York, Rock of Love, Flavor of Love. Those used to go hard. Those used to go hard. I'm sorry.
I feel you. They did. It really just depends on his vision of where he sees this network going.
Now it really depends on. So all the people that he was competing against to win it, they're still holding stock in BET. So they still have some say. It might not be as big, but it's something.
Yeah. And that's all I'm saying. I hope he listens. Like Ralph touched on this before. Like people would, give him some advice and he didn't really want to take it. I hope that he changes that. Like the people who still have stake in BET can offer up, hey, maybe we should do this, maybe we should do that. And he'll be like, oh, okay, that's cool. Right. Let's do that.
Take yourself off that pedestal.
So
I don't know. I don't have anything else to add to it. I just hope he treats them fairly. Treat all the actors that come in there fairly.
Get them some better wigs.
Ooh.
Hey, he got the money now. He got network money now. Get them some better wigs. And let's get some shows that's not centered around black trauma. Let's do that too.
Don't make me go into that conversation, bro. Black people are more than just trauma. My parent wasn't here. We are way more than that. We are, the rich auntie, quote unquote. Like we so much more than that. We can be fantasy. We can be comedy that ain't always race comedy. We can be an action. We can be James Bond too. Or no. We can be another spy with a new name. We can be so much more than just that. And oh my god, I'm not going to go there.
Yeah.
I feel you. I'm interested to see what happens after this point. Is he going to make moves that are actually going to get people back into watching BET?
We'll see.
Time will only tell.
Wasn't like BET and BET Plus, was that merged with Paramount or is it separate? How did that go again?
It's separate. It does have something to do with Paramount, but it's separate.
Yeah.
And what I saw was that some of the income for BT was coming from BT Plus. So they, at least they have enough subscribers to keep the lights on. But we'll see what comes after this point.
Okay.
We'll see.
We'll see. But that was all of the topics that we had for you guys today. So let's go ahead and shut this down. Once again, Ryan and Ralph, I want to thank you guys for joining me on an episode of the Blerd podcast. It's always great having you guys here for good conversation, good laughs. I want to thank everybody who's been watching and listening. Whether this is your first time or 50th time listening, I want to say thank you. The watches and listens are always appreciated. And now I'm going to pass it out to Ralph to lead us out.
Cool. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Make sure you guys check out our donation link. It helps us with the equipment, software, and you can even possibly get us an Apple Vision Pro. However,
woo!
Don't do it. But in other words, please check out our affiliate links, Right Stuff Anime, get yourself some manga, some Funko Pops, some movies, etc. And you can also check out Entertainment Earth. Sometimes they have some exclusive Funko Pops that Right Stuff Anime might not have at the time. Who never knows. And also make sure you check out our socials. Make sure to check out our Instagram at the Blerd Pod. Make sure you guys follow us on Facebook and TikTok at the Blerd Podcast. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter at the Blerd Pod. And with that being said, we out. Peace.
Also, I gotta give them their ups to the spot. The way that man looks at the end versus what he looked at the beginning, that was like a visual coming of villain